Sem. Remember that? Office productivity tools, right? So different types of media, the text, the graphics, the audio, the video, the audio video, and the interactive media. Okay, so it deals with different types of media. I mean, of printed production. So may text, may graphics, so ito yung text tangible part. Nalala niyo pa ba yung flash? You still remember? Okay. That was like 2 years ago. Imagine that. Okay, next is a very brief history of what started the print media, okay, print production. So before we go to the technical aspects, let's take a moment first to appreciate the works of Johannes Gutenberg. I'm sure you've heard of that before. Johannes Gutenberg is the one who invented the printing press. Okay, the literal printing press. Kasi you really need to press it. Diba? So sobrang naging foundation for the Gutenberg, kahit yung the usual media that we are seeing right now, we call them press. Diba? It started with the invention of Johannes Gutenberg, which is the printing press. Okay, and it just consists of Gutenberg innovation. Books and written materials are copied by hand, and before Gutenberg, books are written manually by hand, okay, by Bong, okay, by Chris. They are manually being written by hand, and you can only own a book before Gutenberg if you are extremely rich person. Because you will commission Monk to write your Bible. That's the most famous book. That's the Bible. To write it. So maybe 2 to 3 years bago matapos ang Bible. Kasi you need to write it manually. Okay, before Gutenberg, that's where the invention of Gutenberg, the printing press, after that, naging mass-produced na, naging mass media. Especially one of the most important book is the Bible. Kahit normal, you don't have to be extremely rich, yes, to own a Bible. Normal people in our society can afford the Bible after the Gutenberg's invention. Now, the key feature of the printing press is the movable type. Basically, each letter, okay, in the printing press is being put manually to that's why it's movable type. So individual letters and characters that could be rearranged and reused. This movable type made it much more efficient and cost effective to print multiple copies. Then we find ways to have an ink that will paste to the metal and the paper perfectly. And lastly, the mechanical press. Now for us to have an idea, a visual representation of this process, I'll play this video here.
Movable metal typeset print.
The printing press is one of the most important.
Movable metal typeset printing is one of the greatest inventions of the last millennium. It revolutionized the way people created and produced books. But what exactly is movable typeset, and why was it such a big deal? Before the movable type printing press was invented, books were expensive and either copied by hand or made using block printing. Copying books by hand was tedious and time-consuming, and scribes sometimes made copying errors. Block printing meant that text and images had to be carved into blocks of wood, then covered with ink and stamped onto a page. These blocks were time-consuming to create and use. By 1450, less than 30,000 books existed in all of Europe. All of this would change with the innovations of Johannes Gutenberg. In the late 1390s, Johannes Gutenberg was born into an upper-class family in Mainz, Germany. He learned various crafts like blacksmithing, jewel cutting, and goldsmithing. Around 1450, he began developing new techniques for improving the printing press. Gutenberg created a process using movable metal type, which meant that letters could be rearranged into countless patterns. This was faster and more accurate than any previous method. It made books and tracts much more affordable. Gutenberg's first major project was printing the Bible in Latin. By 1500, there were over 200 printing shops in Europe. It is estimated that between 8 and 20 million books were printed during those first 50 years. This type of printing press would lead to the mass production of the Bible. This meant that the Bible was more accessible and affordable to people than ever before. The effects of Gutenberg's invention were enormous. Ideas spread across Europe and the world faster than they ever had. This contributed to major cultural and intellectual movements such as the Renaissance, the Reformation, the Scientific Revolution, and the Enlightenment. Printed books, including the Bible, were more affordable for everyone. Gutenberg's innovations revolutionized the process of book production and the way people engaged with the Bible.
It says on the video that the printing press, the invention of Johannes Gutenberg, is the catalyst of the Renaissance and the first industrial revolution. Just imagine the impact of that. Renaissance, what is Renaissance? Anyone who any idea what's the Renaissance period? During the 1500 in Italy. It's the Renaissance. It's like the opposite of the Dark Ages. We have the Dark Ages. Everything that went, the flag, everyone is doing the war, malaging Thrones yung like nila doon. Then we have the Renaissance. Renaissance is like the Enlightenment period. Those were the time where Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, we have the finished with the Vergil, the Donatello. Those were the era where they were. It's like the start of the modern era as they are known today. Okay? So the catalyst is the Gutenberg printing press. Okay. What do you mean by catalyst anyway? What's the synonym of the word catalyst?
Paradigm shift, sir.
Paradigm shift, okay. Yes. Enabler, okay. So catalyst. So parang sa life nyo, ano yung catalyst na something that di ba mayroon tayong publication, di ba, yung catalyst? The catalyst. Are you familiar with the catalyst? Publication natin sa PhD. The catalyst, di ba may yung journal yung sa PhD, the catalyst? Kasi, ang ibig sabihin ng catalyst is something that the start of something enlightenment. Start of enlightenment. Kayo, pagka-graduate nyo, pwede kayo maging catalyst na shift natin to become a first world country. Kayong catalyst. So, yung youth today is the catalyst of the change in the society, paradigm shift of becoming a first world country. Kayong catalyst. Then after that, the Renaissance period, we have the first industrial revolution, the propagation of engineering, the steam engine. Okay, because of the printing press, mga technical books is easily reproduced and distributed. Okay, and because of that, we're able to create manuscript for steam engine. Okay, so science, engineering, yung STEM, na for advancement of society. Then, first industrial revolution. What's the flagship technology of the first industrial revolution? The steam engine, right? The steam engine. So, from rural, naging urban landscape ng later Europe. Okay? because of the first industrial revolution. Steam engine, factory, do not start. Then nagkaroon ng second industrial revolution. What's the flagship technology of the second industrial revolution?
Train, sir.
We can say, three, we can categorize that in the first one. Kasi steam engine, we're using the steam. Electricity. Electricity is the next flagship technology. After the electricity, it's really everything, it's the disruptive technology, the electricity. Then, that's the second industrial revolution. The third industrial revolution, what is the flagship technology?
Light, sir.
Automation.
We have already the steam engine, electricity. And the third is the internet. Internet. So, flagship of the third industrial revolution is internet and computer. Of course, you will not be able to use internet without computer. So, all in all, encompassing, it's the internet. So, steam engine, electricity, internet. Then we are about to enter the fourth industrial revolution, which is the flagship technology is the AI. AI. Fourth industrial revolution. So we are currently where? Third or fourth? Fourth. Actually, it's not yet official. It's the fourth industrial revolution. Started already. It's not yet official. Because we will be able to realize that sometime ago already. May mga 50 to 100 years from now, doon natin makakategorize, nag-start pala yung fourth industrial revolution noong 2010 or 2020, nung paglabas ng ChatGPT. Are you familiar with ChatGPT? Yes. So everything changed. Just imagine the power of AI. Midjourney, Dolly, those are the... Then, the fifth industrial revolution. What will be the flagship technology of the fifth industrial revolution? That's what we don't know. It's hard to speculate. Okay, so here are the three basic parts of the yung Gutenberg printing press. Now, one of the Gutenberg's most famous works is the Bible. Okay? Also known as the 42-line Bible, which as of today there are only 21 surviving complete Bible from the Gutenberg printing press from 1450s. 21 na lang, lahat yun ang sa museum. Okay, and ang huling nabenta na complete Gutenberg Bible was noong 1970s stock. And it cost around $10 million. Noong 1970s pa yun. Kasi lahat ng Gutenberg Bible na yun. Nasa museum na. Kahit isang page lang, kung mayroon kayo isang page na, napanin ko sa Pawn Stars. Sa Pawn Stars. Yes, isang page lang na. They call it leaf kasi back to back. So it's called one leaf of a Gutenberg Bible. Asking price ng naging value sa Pawn Stars is $65,000. So how much is that in pesos? 3.25, 3.2 million. Then, bili siya, $47,000. So, magkano? Mga almost 2.5 million. Isang page lang yan, ang Gutenberg Bible. So that's the Bible is considered one of the earliest major books printed using a movable type and it's a masterpiece of typography. What's typography, class? Typography deals with the font size, the font itself, the pleasing placement of text in a language. Okay? So that's typography. For example, guys, just look around this room. You can see that is have a very good typography because it is one pleasing. The font is straightforward. The font size is very readable. So yun, readable. That's the term that we're looking for. So that's So typography? Good typography. Now, if we are going to assess different typography, we can say that something is have a poor typography, if we cannot read it, okay, if we cannot read it, then the font are using that is irrelevant or out of place to the context of the facility. For example, di ba may nag-viral dati na sign ng isang, gumamit siya ng sign for a, let's say sa nila, sa pantry nila sa office. Then ginamit ng font is Comic Sans. Then nag-comment yung CEO ng company nila, this is a Fortune 500 company. Please do not use Comic Sans when putting cyber. Kanya kasi, so it means that the typography that someone who posted it has a poor typography because we didn't choose the right font, or maybe the font size is correct, but the font is out of place to the context of their workplace. Yeah. We should always observe proper typography once we are in our journey in print production. Next, Gutenberg's invention had a profound impact on the spread of knowledge, communication, in Europe and beyond. So, critical role in Renaissance, as explained during the era of Michelangelo and Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci, Donatello, and contribution to the world of printing and publishing. So that's a pivotal moment in history. And it's the very important moment. So who are the key player or stakeholders in print production? Diba sa education process, yung mga stakeholders natin, sino yung mga stakeholders natin sa educational process? Of course, students.
Faculty.
Of course, yes, faculty. Well, the community around the building, the parents, okay, the administration. Those are the stakeholders. The businesses, even the businesses around surrounding us, they are the ones who care the most to the advancement of the educational process. Now, for the key players in print production, we have 4 basic. Okay, the designers, okay, the printers itself, the one who print, the clients, of course, where are we selling our finished product for print production? The clients. Then, our source for paper and ink, okay, our supplier for paper and ink. They are our key players in the print production process. So, designer, conceptualize and visualize the elements of a printed piece, including the layout, typography, observe proper typography, graphics. So make sure that the printed projects are, this is very important, aesthetically pleasing, okay, and effectively communicates its message. Now, printers are the skilled professionals who bring designs to life on paper. They operate the printing presses, manage the inks and colors, and oversee the entire production process. Client are the individuals or organizations that being commissioned for print projects that we have, and they define the goals. Of course, the clients will provide you the goals that we want to achieve. Okay, that the designers will do, and the printers will implement. And behind the back room, okay, the people behind this process are our paper and ink suppliers. They provide the raw materials essential for print production, and that's crucial because they impact a lot the final product of the print production. Now, the printing process. We also have here four key players in the four steps in the printing process. The pre-press, the printing itself, the finishing, and the quality control. Those are the 4 steps in print production. Kung sa video production, pag-aaralan natin na meron tayong pre-production, the production itself, and the post-production. So sa print production, we have pre-press, printing, finishing, and quality control. Digital files for printing and retouching and posting, and single sheet for efficient printing. Then printing, the heart of print production, makes the design, brings design to life and involves transfer of ink onto paper using various printing techniques. It's either offset or digital. Ngayon class, topic pa lang natin is printing press, but we'll talk of the offset and digital also. Okay? So offset is the evolution of the printing press, and digital is probably the final evolution of the printing press that we will talk. But this will be on a different chapter. Finishing. Finishing touch are added, maybe cutting, folding, binding, and additional processes like foiling and embossing. It's up to your client if they want a glossy finish or a matte finish. And of course, lastly, the quality control. The printed piece undergoes rigorous quality control to ensure it meets the client's specification and industry standards. Okay? So before we talk about the why print matters, the tangibility, credibility, brand identity, and permanence. So that's the end of the part 1 here. I'll show first the video here to give you an idea about the
Up until 1450, books were written and copied by hand. We call those manuscripts. They're some of the most beautiful works in existence. But these manuscripts would take many months, even years to write or copy. This is where today's guest comes in. Well, he's not an actual guest because he's been gone for several hundred years, but he and his invention are the topic of this video. I'm talking about Johannes Gensflash Zerlanus Gutenberg, who is also known as Johann Gutenberg. And his invention is the movable type printing press. Let's paint the landscape for this story. Gutenberg's exact birth date is unknown, somewhere around 1400 AD. And the location was Mainz, Germany. But to really paint the landscape, let's back up a little bit. The year 1337 was when the 100 Years' War began over the right to rule France. From 1347 to 1351, the Black Death, or Great Mortality, had killed over 1/3 of the European population. It had resurfaced 3 to 4 times during Gutenberg's life. In 1368, the Ming Dynasty began in China. Then there's the Schism of 1378, where 2 men, eventually 3, claimed to be the true pope simultaneously. And in 1384, John Wycliffe, the first to translate the Bible from Latin to Middle English, died of a stroke. Alright, let's bring it back to the early 1400s. Not much is known about Gutenberg's early years. He was born in a house called Hof zum Gutenberg in Mainz, Germany. Gutenberg, no doubt, learned some metalsmith trade from the mint, where his father and several relatives had important positions. We also know he was an entrepreneur. He kept a pulse on what people wanted and what would make him money. One business venture was making mirrors to sell to the Catholics on their pilgrimage through Mainz. Mirrors were the new holy deity, one that gathered light from the holy relics. Well, one of the reappearances of the Black Death got in the way of that pilgrimage. At some point after the mirrors, Gutenberg changes focus to a secret project. He has the idea to create a machine and a process to copy books in a way never done before at scale. It's going to take many years and a lot of money. This secret project is a movable type printing press. Block printing and some movable type have been around for quite some time, but Gutenberg was thinking big. How to scale the process without compromising on quality. Let's start with the ink. Gutenberg needed something that would stick to the metal type, transfer well to the page, and look great. Carbon, copper, lead, titanium, and sulfur are some of the identifiable elements in the ink that Gutenberg used. These components were similar to those used in 15th century paintings. But what about the metal type? Gutenberg created a metal alloy of lead, tin, and antimony in order to meet his requirements for durability, quality, and reusability. Not to mention